What if you discovered a species for the very first time and then it just vanished forever, never to be seen again? Creatures so rare, the only proof they existed is a single specimen from single sightings in remote jungle.
No hate rap isn't for everyone, dog. Your vocab gotta be extended to the max. Yeah, no hate. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
To 16-foot whales. Today, we're diving into 5 more animals that have only been seen once, starting with the spade-toothed whale. A full-sized whale, something that grows to around 16 or 17 feet long, and no one has ever seen one alive. Everything we know about this animal comes from individuals that have washed up dead on beaches. And get this, there have only been about 7 confirmed specimens ever found to date. And these specimens have mostly been turning up around New Zealand and one all the way over in Chile. The very first record goes all the way back to 1872, when someone found a lower jaw on a remote island. And even then, scientists didn't realize what they had, since they thought it belonged to a completely different species of whale. Then, over the course of a few years, more and more bones started washing up on the beaches around New Zealand, and it wasn't until scientists actually ran DNA tests that they realized all of these remains belonged to the same species, a whale that no one had ever seen in the flesh. And then, in 2010, something crazy happened. When a mother and calf washed up dead on a beach in New Zealand, it was only then when DNA testing came back and confirmed those were spade-toothed whales. Scientists literally had the animal and didn't even know what it was. Now, in terms of what the cetacean actually looks like, it's got that classic beaked whale shape that's built for deep diving. But the weirdest part are the teeth. The males have these huge spade-shaped teeth that stick out from the lower jaw, hence its namesake, and they can get to around 9 inches long. Scientists believe that these whales use these teeth for fighting other males down in the depths, which is just crazy to think about. And speaking of deep, that's probably the reason we've never seen one alive. Beaked whales are some of the best divers on the planet. They can stay underwater for hours and dive to depths of nearly 10,000 feet, which is almost like 2 miles down in complete pitch black darkness. So if the species spends most of its life down there, well, then it makes perfect sense why we've never seen one alive. The most recent specimen, found just 2 years ago, was the first time scientists could properly study a fresh, intact specimen. And even then, they were still figuring things out. When they dissected it, the scientists found things like 9 separate stomachs with squid beaks inside, which all pointed to the whale being a deep-sea hunter. But still, they were still left with no real answers about how this whale actually lives. And that's what makes this so crazy. We're not talking about some tiny fish or insect. This is a massive whale, and we still know almost nothing about it. So, with so little sightings, the question is it still out there? Well, 100%, since they are such cryptic deep-water animals living so deep, and the fact that they're quite intelligent animals, I'm fairly certain that somewhere in the deep South Pacific, there's probably a whole population of these things just living their lives completely unnoticed. And until the day we finally see one alive, the spade-toothed whale remains a whale we've only ever seen after it was already dead. Next up, a shark that looks more like a stingray and might be one of the rarest sharks on Earth. Meet the Philippines angel shark. Now, angel sharks are already some of the most alien sharks in the world. They've got these flattened pancake-like bodies with massive wing-like pectoral fins that make them look more like rays than sharks.
Yeah, many killer whales would be
They
cool. I'm not gonna lie, those would be very cool.
hunt by sitting still rather than endlessly
Mini
moving
orcas
and
and shit.
suction prey into their huge mouths
A mini orca would be insane, bro. A mini orca would be so insane for sure.
with razor-sharp teeth. It's this sitting and hiding in the sand that makes this rare ambush predator so hard to find. I can tell you from experience of having dove with them in Japan and in California. Witnessing their behavior, I'll tell you, they are so fascinating. They're super chill, perfectly camouflaged, and then suddenly lightning fast when they strike. Ask me how I know, because our friend Andy Murch actually got bitten by a clouded angel shark when we were there. But
Why?
while these species may be relatively
Why you say they dirty as hell, bro? Why you say they dirty?
abundant, the Philippines angel shark is only known from a single specimen, and this was a small, immature female measuring just over a foot long. It had this greenish brown body covered in darker spots, outlined in pale edges, with subtle black markings near its dorsal fins. For an angel shark, this is pretty standard camouflage that's designed to help it completely disappear on the seafloor. This lone individual was discovered in 1995 on the 23rd of September during a deep-sea trawl off the coast of Luzon in the Philippines at depths of over 1,200 feet. That's way down on the outer continental shelf in a dark, cold environment that we barely ever explore. At first glance, scientists actually thought it was just another similar-looking species, the Taiwan angel shark. But years later, after taking a closer look at its features, such as the spacing of its spiracles, the shape of its fins, and a few subtle differences, they realized it was a completely new species of angel shark, officially described for the first time in 2011. But sadly, since then, it's been very, very quiet. There hasn't been a second specimen found, and no one has ever seen it. But does the fact that it hasn't been seen for so long mean it's extinct? Not really.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I see what you. Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay. 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 That's on. Yeah. 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 You know everything different over there, bro. Everything different over there. That's what we also gotta take a deep dive into Antarctica for sure. But you know we can't. You know that's like tiptoeing. That's like talking about Area 51 and all this other shit. Area 47 and all this other bullshit. You know that bring a little bit more attention. You know what I mean?
Really. Notoriously, deep sea species like this are very hard to study. And to make things worse, Philippines angel sharks live in
Hey, it's weird, bro. Hey, don't hey, it get weird, bro. It get weird. You know what I mean? It get weird, brother.
the ocean, thousands of feet down, where very few surveys actually take place. And angel sharks, by nature, are masters of camouflage. And like we said before, they literally bury themselves in the sea floor, leaving just their eyes exposed. So even if they are down there, we could be easily missing them. But at the same time, deep sea trawling and longlining is a real concern, since these sharks live right in the zones where fishing nets drag across the sea floor, and if a population was already small to begin with, it wouldn't take much to wipe it out before we even realized it was there. If we were ever going to find the shark again, it would probably be through deep sea surveys using ROVs or BRUVs, or even another accidental troll catch. But until then, the Philippines angel shark remains one of the most mysterious creatures ever caught, a shark seen once and never again. Next up, a highly venomous snake that was discovered completely by accident and has only ever been seen once. This is one of the rare
Shit, I don't even want to. Hey, man, I don't even. You know what? When I was little, that was such a big thing. Boy, oh, Area 51, Area 51, da 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 da. Boy, I don't even want to. I don't even want to go and witness that shit. I don't even want to go even nowhere near close to that shit no more. I don't, man. I, yo, it's too. It's strange, man. It's strange. It's strange, man. And it's like, yo, that's a whole nother different topic. Yeah, I heard it's a lot of shit. I heard it's a lot of shit, bro. Like I heard like it's another little part that they suppose like a few like 2 or 3 different parts like several miles like within 1 or 2 miles that's like it's Area 51 but they call different little station, bro. It's hey man, I'm good, bro. I damn near I damn near I damn near don't even want to go to Vegas no more. You know what I mean? I damn near don't even want to because I heard some strange. I heard it's damn near worse than Hollywood. For real. I believe it, bro. I believe it, bro. I believe they found plenty of cures to plenty of things down that bitch. I believe it, bro. That shit ain't nothing but a fucking big test for all that shit. All that is. That's what they should have called it. Test Facility One. They should have named it that. That's all that shit is. A big ass test facility, bro. That's it, bro. That's the second Pentagon for real. Fuck out of here.
rarest pit vipers on the planet, hidden deep in the forests of northeast India. Meet the Arunachal pit viper. Now, at first glance, this snake might not look like anything too crazy, since if you look at its top, it's
That
got
bitch look
this
crazy.
brownish, dull coloration that blends
That bitch look
perfectly
like
into
he'll
leaf
bite
litter
you
on the
and kill
forest
your
floor.
ass
But along its sides and belly, it's got
two
some
seconds.
glossy, striking reddish orange color. It's such a weird contrast, and if you ask me, being a herpetologist, it's a pretty sick looking snake. It gets up to around 26 inches long.
Herpetologist. Herpetologist. Man, let me pull my shot right quick because let me make sure that's just what. Hold on. Let me, hold on. All right, yeah, y'all. This the last one we probably gonna take. I ain't taking no more after this because I gotta do some more content after this. I gotta play the game, all type of shit. Last one, bro. Ah, nah, recently though, science, recently though, science found out that B venom cures cancer 100%, and Trump shut the operation down. Right, but that's their favorite president though. That's their pre. That's they. You remember when you. You remember when you used to go? You remember when you go to the neighborhood and you see all his flags up? And now them same neighborhoods you go in, you don't see none of their flags up. You don't see none of his flags up. Oh, I bet the science did go missing. I bet they claim. I bet they claim that if they found it, it was burnt too. I bet they claim that too. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying, Donut? This shit get weird, bro. I'm telling you, it's weird. Now, what I'm saying though, I gotta figure out what this is. What is what he said? What is in herp? I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Somebody that do herpes, right? Special outside. Oh no, I'm completely wrong. Holy shit. A herpetologist is a zoologist who specializes in the scientific study of reptiles and amphibians, including snakes, lizards, turtles, crocodilians, frogs, and salamanders. I really like salamanders. Salamanders are cool. You don't really hear people talk about them a lot, but salamanders are very cool. Um, the terms come from ancient Greek word herpeton, meaning creeping animal. Hmm, I like that herpeton. I like that word. I like the meaning too. Creeping animal. That's crazy. Herpeton. Hey, Donut, what you said? What you said? Me wolf again? Uh, boars, right? You said boars, right? Is it boars? I'm pretty sure you said boars. Boars is wolf, and what's tiger? Oh, is the thing you talking about also with the 11 scientists? We taking that dive. We taking that rabbit hole too. We took that yesterday. We got to pick back up on it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah, with the aliens. Yeah, he was like a some type of space scientist, whatever. P-52s and P-47s. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, this is getting strange, brother. Of course aliens exist, man. You already know that, bro. This shit for real, bro. This shit
And
for real.
like
This shit
most
ain't a
pit
joke.
vipers, this species is also highly venomous, having a potent hemotoxic venom that causes severe pain, bleeding, and tissue damage. The story of its discovery is just as fascinating. Back in the early 2000s, during a biodiversity survey in Arunachal Pradesh, a researcher named Rohan Pandit and a local guide from the Bungan tribe were hiking through a steep forest near a village when all of a sudden they spotted this brown snake sitting in the leaf litter. At first, they thought it was just another viper, but when they looked at it properly, it didn't quite match anything they'd ever seen before. So, like any sane biologist would, they collected it, brought it back, and took a proper look. And that's when they realized that it was something truly different. After detailed analysis, measuring its scales, studying its anatomy, and
Like
even
a
running
dragon.
genetic tests,
That
lo
shit
and
like a
behold,
dragon.
the scientists confirmed that this was an entirely new species of pit viper. And here's the craziest part.
I actually love vipers, man, but they just extremely venomous, bro. And I'm not really too much of a care handler of snakes. So, only reason why I wouldn't get one. But I'm really a big fan of vipers. I love vipers. Vipers are very cool,
This was the first new pit viper species discovered from India in over
especially pit
70
vipers.
years. That's just insane. But since that one sighting, which is almost 10 years ago now, it still remains the only one scientists have ever found. We don't know how many of these snakes exist, we don't fully understand its behavior, and we don't even know if they're ground dwelling. But I guess you could say that the good news is that the forest where it was found is still relatively intact. It's incredibly steep, hard to access, and only lightly disturbed by humans, which means there's a very real chance that more of these snakes are out there, but just that no one is crazy enough to go there and look for one. And honestly, that's probably the reason we haven't seen it again. Pit vipers are masters of staying hidden, and that's exactly like the copperheads, cottonmouths, and rattlesnakes that we have in the US. You could literally walk past one and never even realize it was there. If we're ever going to find this species again, it'll come down to more surveys in these remote forests, slowly flipping leaf litter, scanning the ground, maybe even working with local communities who know the land better than anyone. But until then, the Arunachal pit viper remains one of the most mysterious snakes in the entire world, seen once and then gone. Next up, a tiny, bizarre-looking seahorse that no one has ever seen alive in the wild, and might be one of the strangest seahorses that's ever been discovered, somewhere off the deep coast of Australia. Meet the bullneck seahorse. Now,
so cool,
seahorses
small.
are already pretty weird looking, but this one takes it to another level. Fully grown, they're only about 2 inches long, but what makes
small,
this
bro.
one stand out is its shape. It's got this unusually wide, thick neck, a short, stubby face, and a body that looks quite off compared to other seahorses.
Yeah.
In fact, scientists even named it Minotaur because of that oversized head compared to its tiny body. It's believed to have a yellow-orange coloration, which scientists think help it to blend into deep-sea coral or sandy seabeds. And like other seahorses, it likely uses its tail to wrap around things like corals or seaweed, anchoring itself in place as currents pass by. But here's the thing, that's all just educated guesses, because no one has ever actually seen one in its natural habitat. The only known specimens were collected off the coast of Eden, New South Wales, Australia, by deep-sea trawling nets. They were officially described in 1997, and since those few individuals were brought up, nothing. Now, the running theory among scientists is that this seahorse lives over 3,200 feet deep and maybe even deeper. That's well beyond where most divers go, and when you combine that with the fact that this thing is absolutely tiny, it's easy to see how it could just completely slip under the radar. However, scientists fear that deep-sea trawling has heavily impacted parts of the ocean floor in that region, and if this species depends on specific habitat like coral beds or untouched seabeds, then those areas could have easily been damaged before we even knew the seahorse existed. What's really interesting, though, is that local fishing communities in Australia actually remember this animal. Some fishermen claim they saw it decades ago, describing that same thick neck and short snout. And that's kind of crazy because there's barely anything about the species in scientific literature, yet people still recognize it. So how would we even find it again? Well, it's not gonna be easy. You'd need to use things like ROVs, BRUVs, maybe even eDNA testing, but the hopeful part is that other deep-sea species and even seahorse relatives have had similar stories. The ruby sea dragon, for example, went unseen for years until scientists actually went looking for it properly And then suddenly, they found it. So maybe, just maybe, the bullneck seahorse is still out there. Until then, this little tiny seahorse remains as a species that's only ever been pulled up by trawlers, but never seen in the wild. Guys, you know that I love rare and extinct animals. That's why I do videos like this, but I also love just generally having adventures. And now that I'm a dad with 2 young boys, I like sharing those adventures with my family. Now, I don't want to plaster my kids all over the internet, which is why I've started an amazing Patreon where some of the most incredible adventures that my family and I go on together are available. Check out the Patreon. It is wholesome, family viewing, very educational, highly about family life on the road. I take my family to Africa, to Central America, to South America, to Asia, all kinds of incredible places on amazing adventures and expeditions that never make it here on YouTube. So go and check out the Patreon right now. Let's talk about our next super rare animal. Now, this next animal might be one of the most mysterious monitor lizards on the planet. Meet Zug's monitor. This is a species of monitor lizard that's found on the island of Halmahera in Indonesia, in a place that's already been known for hiding some seriously weird and unique reptiles. And like most monitor lizards, you'd probably be expecting this species to be quite active and maybe even seen by locals from time to time. But this one is different. Zug's monitor is only known from a single specimen, which was a juvenile that was found all the way back in 1980. And get this specimen wasn't even recognized or identified for that fact. It actually sat in a museum for many, many years until scientists later realized that this wasn't anything they'd ever seen before. And when you look at it, it's actually pretty cool looking. The only known individual measured 14.2 inches long. But since that one specimen was collected over 40 years ago, there's been basically nothing. No confirmed sightings in the wild, no photos, and scientists still don't know what it eats, how it lives, or even where exactly it spends most of its time. But the most interesting thing is that there has been a couple of reports coming in from locals claiming that they've seen something similar in different parts of the island. But these reports have never been verified. And that's actually crazy when you think about it. This is a monitor lizard, an active lizard on an island where they've potentially been collected not just for science, but for the pet trade, and for them to completely disappear like this, it's honestly kind of hard to even wrap your head around. But then again, the island of Halmahera is covered in dense tropical rainforest that's full of steep terrain, remote valleys, and areas that are still barely explored. And that's what makes this one so interesting. Because unlike the animals we've talked about before, this isn't a place that's been heavily developed or completely overrun by humans. So all the usual reasons we see animals disappear don't really apply here. And because of that, it actually makes it a lot harder to believe that this animal just simply went extinct. But over the years, scientists have actually discovered multiple new monitor lizard species in this region alone. So the idea that something like this could still be hiding out there is still not that far-fetched. If we're ever going to find Zug's monitor again, which I think is very realistic, it would take proper field surveys where you're working with local communities and tribes, not just setting up trail cameras, but trekking and expeditioning through the jungle to look for signs of this monitor before potentially catching one at night or noosing it. But until that day comes where the expedition goes out, Zug's monitor remains one of the strangest reptile mysteries out there, only seen once and never again. Hey, I hope you guys want to watch more than this video once and never again. So if you do,
Crazy. Seen in 1980 and never seen again is crazy. Bro, seen in 1980 and never seen again is diabolical. I ain't gonna lie. That's that's worse than Jeffrey Epstein. Anyway, with that being said, um, we will end it, man. We will go ahead and end it here. Uh, yeah, apparently I didn't know my shit was dying, but yeah, man, we gonna end this stream here. We gonna catch up to y'all later on. Damn, it's 1 o'clock. I didn't even realize it was 1 o'clock. Yeah, so we're gonna catch up to y'all later on. Y'all be good, man. Appreciate y'all for dropping in on this stream. Y'all don't see y'all next one. Y'all just drop back in, man. Just drop back in on who you feel like it, man. But y'all be good. I'll catch up with y'all later on, man.